Every morning, you need to mind hack and murder hack your brand.
Exponential growth is exponential.
Look at your calendar and burn it. What is your personal winning resume?
The number one thing that they don't teach in school is to make money. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur. Produce.
I am literally a god.
Spartans!
Business.
Money hacks.
It's a beautiful sound.
Yeah.
A solemn sound.
A solemn sound for a solemn day.
Yeah. Okay. I think that did the trick.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're probably good on the.
Gotta play them 13 times.
No, that's a lot of bells.
Yeah, well.
Let's stop because this is. I think there's too much bells for a podcast. I mean, it's obnoxious now. It's just people are listening to bells. They're supposed to be listening to people talking.
Let's just
couple more bells. I think we've had enough. No, I'm going to try.
Right.
Well, I don't have control of the bells.
Yeah, well, we're playing.
I can't.
We're going to play them all.
All right. Okay. Turn off the bells.
All right.
Turn off the bells.
One more bell.
Call off the bells.
That was the Belizean bells. Ladies and gentlemen, John McAfee is dead. Very somber morning I woke up to. I've been sleeping for several days, and I woke up to the news. So,
yeah,
it's been.
It's been 3 days.
It's been 6 days.
It's been 6 days since he hung himself.
Oh my God. So dark.
No, but all jokes aside.
Yeah. So John McAfee's dead. He is off to another story. I would say he lived a long life. He was
75 years old.
He lived a long, fulfilling, eventful, lovely life. And
he's a gentle soul.
Bridge and I were quite close to John.
Yeah.
They called us the Three Musketeers. McAfee, Han, Stewart.
Yeah.
We were
the big three.
The big three.
I mean, it was me, you, and McAfee.
We were such good friends. John McAfee.
We roamed the streets.
Yeah.
Us roaming the streets. Getting up to no good with that with that guy.
Drinking milk.
Milk.
Wearing those white outfits. Drinking.
It was a style. It was a style that we had. We would put on all white. Walk around with some canes.
Bowler hats. Walked around with some canes.
Get up to a little bit of the ultra-violence is what we'd call it.
Outlived by his 47 children.
Big kid guy. Liked kids.
Yeah, he liked the old in-out. Let's just say.
The old in and out. Yeah, the old in-out.
Well, he liked In-N-Out, too, when he was in California. He loved In-N-Out.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he'd have the old in-out, in and out.
So, just to give some of our listeners some context here, yes, John McAfee has passed away.
I think it's McAfee.
Really?
Our good friend John McAfee, such close friends. It might. You know what? Actually, might be McAfee. You might be right. It was McAfee. Yeah,
I've heard
virus
McAfee
software.
too.
Oh, it might be McAfee.
Old McAfee.
I think his name was.
I mean, he would go.
Well, we called him John.
He went by so many names.
Oh,
anyway.
So many names, so many women, so many children.
so many titles. Here, okay. He was a man of many talents. And so just to give a little background on him, John McAfee is famed for his being a revolutionary in antivirus software.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, when computers were first kicking off, they were filled with viruses. I mean,
Oh,
yikes.
yeah. I mean, they programmed viruses into the computers. Talk about planned obsolescence. They were way ahead of their time. And John McAfee. John McAfee, yeah. He designed the first commercial antivirus software, and it exploded on the market.
Yeah, he just hated viruses. I remember
Oh.
I remember when we would hang out with him. I mean, he'd just be on the street, as we would be. I mean, 90% of our time was just on the street. And he'd just be shuffling up and down the boulevard saying, I hate viruses, I hate viruses. I wish I wasn't filled with viruses. And
he saw the world was a virus. He saw, people say humans are a virus. No, he loved humanity. Big humanitarian. He saw the natural world as the virus that need to be claimed. That was his life goal, was to claim the virus. He'd say that a lot.
Yeah.
In the early mornings after coming back from the street. I'm going to claim the virus one day. You'll see, boys.
You'll see. I'll get rid of all the viruses one of these days, or I'll die trying. And,
And he did.
He did. I'm not sure if he got rid of all the viruses. Actually,
the big virus was all forms of government, right?
That's the biggest virus.
He was a bohemian at heart.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
No, we're obviously torn up about old Johnny Boys. He was a revolutionary. He was a fun guy, but, he had his demons.
Like everyone does.
I remember that time we went to Disneyland, and we were just, riding on Splash Mountain. And, right as we reached the peak, right before you're about to go down the splash, he turns to me and he's like, one of these days, I'm going to hang myself. And then it gave the splash part a little
different context.
Yeah, it was really, it kind of made it more exciting, but more frightening too.
Sure.
And the fact that he kept staring at me as we were going down the splash after he said that he was going to hang himself.
Always had a smile on his face, except for when he would tap you on the shoulder and look at you without blinking, saying, on one of these days, I'm going to hang myself.
Yeah, it wasn't
there was a twinkle in his eye.
There was a twinkle in his eye, and it wasn't that infrequent that he would say that. I feel like most times we hung out with him, he would make references to himself hanging himself.
He said, I've never been to Paris. Okay, well, let's go. And we did a big old trip, and on the top of the Eiffel Tower, he turned to me and said, I'm going to hang myself. Let's get a croissant.
Let's get a croissant. Let's watch a movie. I'm going to hang myself. That was sort of his style. He'd go around. I remember, like we said.
The world is a virus.
He just kept saying it. He he was a big family man. Like we said, he had something like 47 kids, and I just remember we'd be at the house. He'd gather 10 to 20 of his kids, sort of put them in a circle, and he's like, kids, one of these days, I'm going to hang myself. So get ready for that. I hated viruses.
I loved yoga. Big yoga head.
I guess.
Well, we should give the audience some context. Tax evasion. Well, that was the big one, and it gets us all, I suppose. He was brought in by tax evasion. They were going to ship him out to the U.S., and he was in Barcelona, in a Barcelona prison. He says, if there's one place that I don't want to be, it's in Spain.
Yeah, I remember.
He wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I remember him saying to me, I hate Spain so much. I never want to end up in Spain. I remember multiple conversations.
Hated Spain, but he died doing what he loved. Hanging himself in a Spanish prison.
He died doing what he loved, hanging himself.
I think it would be a good idea if we just commemorate him for this episode.
Yeah.
His philosophies and wisdom.
His big philosophy was always just get the viruses out of me. Get the viruses. Please, get the viruses out of me. And I think our viewers can learn a lot from that. Just make sure that you don't have the viruses in you.
Make sure you're clean. Well, when he left McAfee, the company, he called it Bloatware because he realized that actually this thing doesn't clean out viruses. It pumps viruses into the computer. That was a little mishap.
Yeah, there's a lot of things he referred to as bloatware.
A lot of his wives, bloatware. He's staying over at the place, and then one of his wives would be making eggs in the kitchen, making food, and he'd just walk past her, just go bloatware.
Oh, look, more bloatware in my apartment. Just more bloat. Look her in the eyes. Look at you. You look at you
Look at you.
bloatware.
Just a kind soul. He'd always take us out. He'd always pay for drinks. Let's go out. He'd say like let's get it. Let's get the night.
Let's get the
was
night.
big one.
Get
the
'em.
night.
Let's
get the
them.
night. Well, I mean, he basically owned Belize. He was a big man on campus in that country. He'd go out with his many men with guns, and we'd be like, "Well, what do we do? I don't feel comfortable with this. Can't we just go out to a bar?" And he'd say, "No, it's the night.
This is the night. Time to get
Let's
away
get 'em."
from my bloatware.
Land of the free.
Yeah,
out there.
such a beautiful, just roaming his house with his children, telling his children, don't get viruses, never get a virus. The viruses are trying to get you. And then looking at his wife.
The viruses are coming.
And being like, get out of my eyesight, you bloatware.
He was a big fan of, like we said, yogi, cryptocurrency, big fan of hammocks and women.
He had so many hammocks.
He had a lot of hammocks in his backyard. I never understood why there were so many hammocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would go through them like socks.
Yeah, he was a big hammock guy. He'd just lie on that hammock all day and said, give me your bloatware. Give it to
Give me the bloat.
And then, his wives would be like, the kids are here.
Yeah, make them watch.
Make them watch. They got to learn.
None of his kids went to school. I think it was just follow old daddy around. He'd call himself Santa Claus.
Yeah, he called him, he would just let his kids roam. Some would go into the jungle. That's fine.
They'd come back like cats, just bringing in little critters to the doorstep. And John McAfee would pat him on the head and the good boy.
Good son.
Well, he'd call his daughters sons, too. That was
just a gentle soul.
Whatever he did 110%. And I think that's important for our audience to hear, is that whatever you do it like old John McAfee. Merry old soul, a merry old soul was he.
Yeah, go 100%. He would always say that. He's like, I feel like I'm only going 95% right now. I gotta do something to go 100%.
And then he'd walk into the bathroom, and 2 minutes later he'd come out and say, I'm at 100% now. Let's take the night.
He'd come out of the bathroom. He'd be sniffing because he had bad allergies. And then say, this is, now I'm at 100%. Get the viruses out of me. That was his party move, screaming to get the viruses out of him.
Find me another wife.
Find me more bloatware.
Where's the bloatware in this house?
Where's the bloatware in this house?
Hang myself.
Where's the bloatware? I'm going to hang myself. Get the viruses out. I want another kid.
I mean, he wasn't always... That was the last couple of years when he was slowing down a little bit.
Yeah. He was a good man.
The whole town loved him. He was like a tall tale. Most of his neighbors liked him, and then this guy, Gregory Fall, this jerk, I met him. Gregory Fall was his neighbor. They had a little dispute, and Gregory Fall... something happened to him, and they blamed it on John.
It really was a pretty disgusting situation how McAfee got railroaded through that process. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no evidence to suggest that. I mean, sure. Like, I remember John who would turn to me sometimes and say, like, I swear to God, I'm going to kill Gregory Fall one of these days. But we all say that about our neighbors. Everybody has said that about neighbors.
It's a turn of phrase. It's just, hey, would you mind, like, turning down the music? I'm going to kill you.
If you don't turn your music down, I'm going to go in here and get my shotgun and then shoot you. I'm going to break into your apartment later on in the night, and I'm going to shoot you. It's just a phrase, and then I'm going to hang myself.
I think he had a heart attack. Personally,
he was an annoying man. I met Gregory Fall.
Oh yeah,
and he would always just be like, "Why are there kids in my yard eating my grass? Get them out!"
When he would go with his lips every time he opened his mouth. Yeah, he'd go.
There's too many kids in my yard. Stop!
Get your dogs and get your kids off my grass.
He hated it. Yeah, he really didn't care for him. I remember, he would always say, just like, if I'm going to kill one person, it's going to be Gregory Fall. And how am I going to do it? Shoot him. Yeah.
But thing is, John was already out of the country at the time.
John would never do such a thing. He's got kids. He's got too much going for him. He's got kids. He's got bloatware. He's another thing. Yeah, he loved yoga.
He was a big reader.
He loved slip and slides. He set up a big slip and slide on his land, and it sort of like went over into the neighbor's land as well. But he had Jello on that slip and slide, and all the kids would sort of just jump in, and there'd be Jello flying all over the place, and Gregory would come out. There's Jello all over my yard. And then John would inevitably turn to him and be like, I'm going to kill you if you don't shut up. And then, after the Jello got in his yard, he would scream about that. And John would turn to him and be like, hey, if you don't shut up, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to shoot you in the head.
Such a joy for life. You need to be able to get in and get out. The flame will be extinguished.
Yeah, he's such an interesting man. He would turn me on to like different diets. Like he was on the raw meat diet, and that's how I got turned on to that. I'd come over to his house, and he'd be like sinking his teeth into just raw beef as I walked in, as the kids were running around, just him at his table. Yeah. And I turned to him. And he's like, this is the only way to eat.
A big beef head.
A gentle soul.
With a bloated wife.
And then his wife would be like, let me cook that, please.
Yeah.
He's like, get away from me, bloatware.
There was a beached whale, and it was still alive, and got a whole bunch of people to come out and like, okay, we're going to push, we thought we were going to push it out into the ocean, but he stuck dynamite in this beached whale because he wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Stuck it right in the blowhole.
Yeah, he ate a lot of whale meat. In fact, that's all he fed his kids for about 2 months. Like, the kids would come in and it's like, Dad, I'm hungry. And he's like, have some of this whale blubber. That'll keep you warm. And whale meat is not good for you. I mean, it's like, it's technically good for you, but it's just really bad for your heart. Is the problem. So he had, some of his kids had heart attacks. Like 12-year-old with a heart attack?
I think that might have been what happened to the neighbor. His neighbor probably just ate too much whale meat.
His neighbor was probably stealing the whale meat. Probably broke into his house and tried to steal. I mean, McAfee had it was essentially a pool filled with whale meat. I mean, that's
one of those infinity pools, and it would be filled with chlorine, and then eventually he'd just be dumping whale blubber into the pool.
Yeah. That's the only way you can store whale blubber.
Outside.
In the sun. You'd always walk out to his pool and say, look at all this whale blubber. And it smelled very bad. I'd be like, this is a little gnarly, John. And he's like, no. The sun disinfects the whale meat. And then he would sort of just jump into the pool and start eating whale meat.
The hot, blistering Central American sun would just
and his kids
melt the whale meat.
Yeah, his kids would swim in the meat pool.
Well, he had those infamous whale parties. Those whale parties were such a treat to be invited to. You knew that you were one of the gang when you were invited to one of his whale parties. And he was such a gentleman at those things. He, every woman there, he'd kiss their hand and say, "Want to come into my bedroom?"
That was his way that he greeted women.
I appreciated it.
A kiss on the hand, and then a kiss on the cheek, and then maybe go for a kiss on the lips. Who knows? And then say,
I'm just standing there.
Come into my bedroom, bloatware.
Yeah.
Well, and if you don't, I'm going to hang myself.
That was a good tactic.
That was his.
That was the infamous McAfee steal. When you bring one of your girlfriends over, one of your wives down to his whale parties, he'd say
that was his move.
Call them bloatware if they'd say no.
Oh, you're not gonna come back to my place? You're just a bloated woman. You're a bloated whale. Is what You're just a bloated whale.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Always had a gun on him. Packing heat.
Always packing.
He'd say, we're going out at night. We're bringing the night to us. I'm packing.
That was some of his charm as well at the bars, pulling the gun out in the middle of conversations with women.
Shoot the roof.
He'd shoot the roof, sort of just flash it at people.
Oh, you don't want to go back to my place? Well, And then he'd flash his Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
And they knew what the
Then
plan
they
was.
then they knew how cool he was.
Then,
And then, he flashed his gun, and he's like, I would never use a gun. Unless it was Gregory. I could see myself shooting that man in the head while my kids watch.
I basically own this town.
Just a good guy out on the town with his bloatware and his feral children. Just roaming the streets with his family.
Well, you mentioned that they were feral, and I think you're right about that. They were they had sharpened teeth.
Yeah, he was big on having his kids have sharp teeth. Like he made sure all of them had sharp teeth, and it's like, why do you want your kids to have sharp teeth? He's like, how else am I supposed to have them bite people?
Kind of look
Those teeth were sharp. Very sharp. I had one of them bite me once.
Oh, yeah. You had to find a hospital.
It was during one of the whale parties. One of the kids had a specific, big piece of blubber that I had my eyes on, and I tried to snatch a little bit from him, and he just bit me right in the arm. Yikes, that hurt.
Yeah, I remember your eyes went up and out. Your face went white, and you just passed out immediately.
I screamed once, get this kid off, get this child off my arm.
And then you just fell right through the glass table. You had to pay him for that
Fell
table.
through the glass table into the pool of meat. What a party.
Nobody touched you. We looked through there was a big gasp at the party, and people looked down. They're like, "Oh, Bridge fell into the pool, I guess."
Just bleeding into all that meat.
You took a sick day then.
Yeah, I took a sick day after that because of all the meat I ate. Well, overall, I have to say that he was the world is never going to see a McAfee like that again.
No, he was a one in a million kind of guy, and I'm distraught right now. But I think we'll get past this. As long as we keep McAfee in our hearts and the viruses on our computers, we will remember.
Yeah, he was a good man, good morals, did everything right. John McAfee.
The man behind the legend, the tall tale of Belize.
No. Nobody wants to hear these bells.
Well, I feel like we didn't do the rest of the bells, so I'm gonna
Yes,
go
you
straight.
did. You said 13 bells. We played like 20.
I didn't
How many
finish the
bells
bells
are you
from
gonna
the start,
play?
so we.
There's too many bells. All right, I'm stopping. This is too many.